What is going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Nature's Prophet and why this hero has been climbing steadily in its win rate, and why this hero is a pretty decent mid laner and a pretty good option for you guys to learn and have in your tool belt, just because this hero is extremely versatile and it does pretty well against most mid lane matchups. There's very few that can do harm to him, and overall gameplay he is good versus Warlock, Lone Druid, Gyro, and Sven, and he is pretty bad against Broodmother, Primal, Spectre, and Earth Spirit. So pretty much heroes that can close the gap and jump onto him and burst him quickly is what Nature's Prophet isn't good against, but he's a very strong laner. A lot of things have changed about this hero where you don't play him as like you used to play him before, where you used to play him for split push and ratting. Now you don't really do that on Prophet. You can play him for pretty much anything you want. If you do need ratting, you can always do that with Nature's Prophet. He's one of the best in the game, practically the best one actually. You can build auras from the mid lane. You can build the Sable, so you can play Halberd Hex build, which is still pretty strong if your team doesn't really need you to do that damage and your team has burst damage and overall and they just lack control. You're going to be able to do that. You can get an Orchid as well to silence these pesky spirit heroes that are always around in the current meta. Now Sprout actually does damage when they're inside, which is very strong in the laning phase preferably, and to kill supports in the early levels, as that little poke damage can be the difference between you getting a kill and not getting a kill. And one of the reasons why I enjoy playing Nature's Prophet from the mid lane is that you get a lot more XP, so you can max your teleport much faster than you typically would, and you're able to make rotations by level 3, level 4, and catch these squishy support heroes off guard. So if you keep an eye on the side lanes, like if you were playing Invoker going for Sunstrikes, it's practically the same ideology. You're just looking for really weak squishy targets for you to be able to blow up quickly, and those kills are going to help you get so much more farm around the map, and you're going to be able to be so freaking active. And there's a lot of builds you can go for on this hero. You can go for Orchid Rush, you can go for Maelstrom if you think the game requires you to deal with illusions, or if you want to just farm a little bit heavier than normal. Your ultimate, I pretty much use it just for farm. I don't really use it for team fights, as it's a pretty long cooldown, and chances are it's not really going to do that much in a team fight. I'd rather use it for farming. Once all the waves are visible, I just pop it, and it ends up being a lot more beneficial in the early game, at least, for you to be able to use this ultimate to farm. Another thing is, by this hero having so many item builds he can go for, there's practically so many options for you to play this hero in a lot of different lineups. Even if you're playing into a bad matchup from the mid lane, you can recover in the jungle so easily with this hero, as all you need is 1 point into your treants, and that is pretty much enough to tank almost any camp, and the rest you're going to be just waiting for the side lanes to push up, and you can take towers a lot easier like usual. But with 1 point, it's practically enough. You can even go 2 points in it and have 1 or 2 points in the Sprout, but since it does damage now, it's actually worth maxing. Overall, it's pretty decent, so it really depends. If you have a lot of kill threat in the side lanes and there's a lot of squishy supports, I definitely recommend for you guys to not play for the split push and play to max the Sprout, so it does that extra poke damage and you're able to get rid of supports a lot quicker, especially if there's supports that don't build Quelling Blade. And especially in low MMR, supports don't really want to build a Quelling Blade, even if they need it and they're dying constantly to the Nature's Prophet. They just don't have the mindset to know that they really need to get a Quelling Blade so they can get out of the Sprout, especially now that it does damage. It's more beneficial for you to get out of there as quickly as possible. And Warlock being such a really strong hero in the current meta, I think that's why Prophet has climbed up so much in the current meta, because Prophet can deal with Warlock so easily. He can blow him up quickly. He can pretty much find him anywhere in the fight, especially if you're playing Silver Edge or Orchid Prophet. You can just silence him and get rid of him within a few clicks, as Warlock is not a very tanky hero, and if he builds Glimmer, you just get yourself a dust and get rid of him real quick, and it's going to be very beneficial for your team for you to be able to get rid of those pesky support heroes that are going to be there slowing and healing people. And Warlock Golems are one of the strongest abilities in Dota for team fights, especially as the game goes later. It's always going to be very strong. So if you get rid of a hero like that nice and early, your team is definitely going to benefit pretty hard from that, as his healing is also very strong and his AoE slow is pretty much one of the most annoying slows in Dota. So you definitely need to keep an eye for that and go for these squishy supports and get rid of them. And that is the beauty of Nature's Prophet. You can practically do whatever you want on the map. You can catch people off guard, and if you start snowballing, everybody on the map is going to be scared of the Prophet, because he can be anywhere at any time and you don't really know what he's going to do next. And staying unpredictable on this hero is what makes you a better Nature's Prophet player, because if you're continuing the same routine, whether you push top, then go middle, then go bottom, it's not going to help you a lot. It's not going to benefit you, because they're going to read that play, they're going to start ganking you, they're going to start start building items to deal with you. Overall, you're going to be soaking always a lot of pressure, and you're going to be pushing those side lanes if necessary, and you're going to be able to join practically any team fight. This hero is one of the strongest mid laners right now. A lot of people that have realized that have been playing it, and that's why his win rate has been going up, because people realize the strength of this hero. And the current meta right now is pretty much all about fighting. It's not so heavy on farming as it used to be, and Prophet isn't the greatest team fighter, but you can make him a good team fighter by building the right items. So build accordingly to what your game calls for, and you will be having a lot of fun on this hero. Give this hero a try. Prophet is absolutely insane. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. A like would be much appreciated. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.